Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. Let me know you're here. Dirty's already throwing in those emotes in there. Appreciate that very much. Welcome everybody on this fine Saturday evening. I hope you're doing well out there. I would describe myself as doing okay. Good evening to you, and yes, also hey everybody, and welcome to the old Bear Cave here on the Build With Baer Workshop. I hope we're doing well. I hope everybody's ready for a fine evening of model kit building and conversation. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. We're going to wait a few more folks to the intro portion of the stream. We're going to let people be fashionably late to the stream. We know they're coming. Epic Open World is here. Hey, Epic Open World, happy to have you. But yeah, we know they're coming. We're excited to see them in a minute or two. Let's see. What do I want to say? Jam is here. Welcome, Jam. We got a great crew of folks here already. Awesome to see. Tonight, while model kit building, we will discuss two manga that I am currently reading that I'm liking. I'm not too far in either, but I am liking them. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a terrible version of a hit British TV show, a United States version of a British show, which is rough. Dirty says, thanks for streaming tonight. I was a few seconds away from watching Battlefield Earth before I noticed it was almost time for the stream. Dirty, I'm glad I saved you from watching Battlefield Earth. You're welcome. If I can prevent just one person from watching a movie that isn't really worth their time, isn't really worth more than like clips on YouTube, I'm happy. We're going to talk about the United States version of Taskmaster. It ran for only 6 episodes, I believe, and it's terrible, and it shouldn't be as bad as. It's like they wanted to make a bad version of it. Like they went out of their way to make a bad version of it. Holy shit! So I watched that. And then also we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about is Pat Berenger a person, or have I just been flooded with spam signups, or is someone by the name of Pat Berenger, Baeringer, using my email by mistake and signing me up for bullshit? When you said Battlefield Earth, in my mind I was thinking Event Horizon, which is also a bad movie. See, the thing is, Epic Open World, Event Horizon, um, is a failure. No, yeah, when yeah, you were thinking, um, what was this? Okay, Event Horizon is a swing or a miss. Battlefield Earth is throwing your bat at the pitcher. You were not intending to make that to have a good try. Um, of course, you're a person, Pat Berenger. No, that's not me. That's someone else. Um, but yeah, uh, Event Horizon was trying to make something cool and didn't really succeed. Whereas Battlefield Earth feels like a tax shelter, like kind of like some sort of scheme, money laundering or something. Uh, it's not good. I watched it over the course of a week in chunks because I was watching it for a movie podcast at the time and couldn't keep watching it. So I was just watching it in bits and pieces because I was also taking notes. So I'd have to pause it and go, wait, what the fuck? Oh boy. Um, Not a good movie. Anyway, we're going to get started with the build in a moment or two. But those are the topics we're going to discuss. Manga, a bad interpretation of Taskmaster, and what's up with this dude? Is this a real person? Let's just say person. I am improperly gendering Pat. Um, uh, Pat Berenger, builder of model kits. No. Um, I think I actually watched it for the first and only time back when it came out in theaters. I couldn't remember how bad it was, so I'm going to watch it again. Dirty, it's bad. Here's the thing. It's not a good, bad movie. It's a bad movie. I am using the parlance of the Flophouse podcast, where they watch a bad movie and they talk about it. which is kind of their like line. But they describe things as a good bad movie, a bad movie, or a movie you kind of liked, like a movie that you were like, oh, this isn't even like a good bad, but I enjoyed it. Battlefield Earth is a bad movie because it's terrible and not fun. Now, Trolls 2 is a good bad movie. It has nothing to do with the movie Trolls. They just had the name. They just named it Trolls 2, and it's not about trolls. And it's terrible. But people are putting some effort into it, and also some people are just like, well, this. They knew they were in a bad movie, so they're having a very good time in that bad movie. So it's like totally watchable. Um, uh, and then there's like those movies that are like, oh, this is a bad movie, and you're like, is this a bad movie? Because I like this movie a lot. Like, well, I like it. Um, there is a Korean um, uh, uh, goofy action comedy question mark called Attack the Gas Station that is uh, definitely a bad movie, but I genuinely enjoy it. I have not seen the sequel. It's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie, which has plenty of good bad movies. Yes, uh, like Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Yeah, I mean, I think M Night is a good example of a good bad movie because like there are movies like that are watchable. Like uh, I think Signs is like a watchable movie that has like a couple scenes that are very good and a bunch of scenes that are very bad, but it's like a totally like I kind of liked that. And there's other movies like I did not enjoy The Happening, but I know people that very much enjoyed The Happening. But I was like, this is a bad movie to me. I don't know. What am I going to do? And then there are, he made like two movies that are just good. Like they're just good. He made like two very, I would say very good. I don't care what people say. Hudson Hawk is on HBO Max now, and I love it. Yeah, Hudson Hawk is a good bad movie. It's a totally watchable thing. Unbreakable is a great movie. Unbreakable is a great movie, and The Sixth Sense is a great movie. Here's the thing about The Sixth Sense, and why it's good despite the fact that it's so good because of the way it is built. Um, and when you watch it knowing the twist, it's also enjoyable. And he's never been able to replicate that. Like once you know the twist of any of his other movies, they don't make the movie better. Like The Village isn't better once you know what the deal is. If you watch The Village again, knowing what the fucking deal is with that movie, it's not a good movie because you're just asking like, well, why didn't they? Well, how did they? Well, how do you prevent? Well, that doesn't make sense. Like it falls apart. Whereas Sixth Sense does technically like there are a couple moments where you're like, what? But for the almost like 90%, 99% of the movie, you're like, yeah, all right. Um, and if it didn't work as well, maybe we wouldn't have the M Night that we have. Go watch Giant Bomb Very Online Show to learn all about M Night Shyamalan and his movies. Uh, yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of. I haven't watched all of them. I didn't see Lady in the Water. Is that the name of that one? I think that's the name of that one. There's one where there's like a whole like he's like M. Night Shyamalan wrote a movie where he plays a writer who saves the day, and I didn't want to see that movie because fuck you. Don't like you can write that character, but don't play that character. M. Night Shyamalan, what are you doing? I was having a bad movie watched today. At started with Priest, Cosmic Sin, and Mutant Chronicles. I have seen one of those movies. It was Priest, and I thought Priest was okay bad movie. Anyway, I'm going to retweet my tweet because I should be building, and I can just be talking about movies while I build. Duh, I can just do that. So we're going to the overhead. We're going to the Tri-Age Magnum. We've got the top of the kit built here. We built one full leg. We're going to finish the other leg. We're going to build the waist. It's all going to be good. We're all going to be real psyched about it. Get this thing together. We got to work on the leg, and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to tell you. So within the span of about 15 minutes, I suddenly had three emails that were clearly appeared to be spam, but they didn't get blocked by spam filter. They just came into my email, my regular old inbox, and I was like, "That's weird. How did that happen?" And they were something from national product testing saying that I was registered for the Sony my Sony OLED TV. I could now test, and it was like, thank you, Pat Behringer, Baeringer. Also, HelloFresh trial. Also, uh, information about the newsletter from Chris, who is an quote unquote old fashioned clairvoyant, and his personal horoscopes. Well, Epic Open World, I mean, my assumption being is that this person, if this person is a real person, has a Sony TV, um, and you have to have the TV to be part of the testing. It's not like they're sending you a TV. That's my understanding from a cursory glance. Um, Also, Morgan Auto's hot deals. These are hot deals for Morgan Auto. And finally, more information about Colorado Christian University, CCU. Um, and that was in the span about 15 minutes. I got emails about all that. So, again, we can think of this being one of two things. This is either someone by the name of Pat Behringer signed up for a bunch of things and goofed, just completely goofed, and used my email address, which could happen, or two, somebody sold my email, or three, somebody was using my email to sign up for things. Um, not like a sold it to a thing, not just like somebody who was looking to be annoying in my life decided they were going to sign me up for things, um, which is rude. I don't, and so he hates your anime takes. Yes, so it's a thing of like, and somebody just like put in the name a little wrong at one point, like they were typing fast and it autocorrected. Um, Harold just subscribed to tier one. That's 45 months. Thank you so much for your continued support, Harold. I appreciate that very much. Listen to the Bear Cave, the leg of the site, the mountain chat. Let Harold know that we see and appreciate Harold for subscribing for that long. That's great. And also, thank you for hosting this stream, Harold. Appreciate that very much. So yeah, I'm not sure if, because like every once in a while, all right, I had an email address that I was using, not my personal email address. I had an email address for like a show that I was ran for years, and at one point I kept getting emails from somebody because somewhere written down accidentally was that email address instead of the proper one for this like bocce league. So they were just like people annoyed about like bocce rules, and they would email it. And so I realized this was not a spam thing. This was just like an honest mistake. So I would then email these people, go, hey, whoever's in charge, you have the wrong email. Please contact the person in charge of this to get the proper email out because they didn't get your emails. And like no one responded to that, unfortunately. So but eventually it did stop, which was great. So at some point somebody must have been like, hey, because it always be like, we can't come on this date. Hey, why did you change what the prize pool is and all this stuff? And I'm just like, that's not what this is. You have the wrong email. So like that's happened before. I've also had somebody I know in my life sign me up for a bunch of newsletters as a prank. They just signed me up for a bunch of information, um, and which was annoying. Um, but I don't think I've ever had an instance where let me just get the F2, 4, and 5. F, great, got them here. 5 goes on the front side. 4 goes back. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if this is a real person, if this was like my email ended up on something, and so I'm just getting added to a bunch of things. Because the thing is, when you look at it, right, it feels very random. We're talking um, national product testing for a TV that someone owns. We're talking HelloFresh. Old-fashioned clairvoyant Chris, uh, Morgan's Auto, and Colorado Christian University. These do not feel connected. Also, I should say, now it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but Chris is a New Yorker. So I don't know if that actually means anything. I don't know if Chris has a physical location or if it's all through email, but it's a newsletter. I mean, Chris could be national. I don't know. But it just feels real weird. All of it feels weird. What also feels weird is having to do, not this doesn't feel weird. I gotta do a thing real quick, here, and change that because gifted subs and stopped. And now I have to change this thing. And there we go. And boom. We are currently at 45 subs. Love to get to 50. Putting that up there because it looks like somebody's gifted subs expired, which is okay, and I understand. And it is no, as I said, the goal is to always be at 50 or more. Would love to get back there. If you can get the sub, if you haven't subbed and you would like to renew your or start a subscription, if you would like to extend a subscription that you got as a gifted sub, all those things would be excellent for you to do. But we're just going to put up there to remind people. I recently had multiple people reply to some spam email by hitting reply all. After a few days, people started yelling at for them to stop replying. Yes, Jam, you can mute those things. You can. There's settings in Gmail so you won't see the replies that come from that. They'll still get sent out because you can't remove yourself from it, but you can mute the conversation so you don't get them you don't come up as emails and like fill up your box. Um, so you can do that. There was I've always talked about there's the great terrible mass email scenario where somebody in the New York comedy community, I wasn't on this mass email, thankfully, where someone had sent out an email to like over 200 people, and it was not blind carbon copied, it was just copied. Um, and it went like a full day with like, they sent the email out and then they sent a reply saying, hey, I'm so sorry. And they replied blind carbon copy, hey, I'm so sorry. We didn't, please respect everybody and blah blah blah. And then and then when they sent that apology a couple hours later, somebody replied to all with I don't know why this person said it. I mean, it's comedians. They replied with just like a random bit of nonsense where they said, and I apologize if there are children present, but again, 13 plus here. They replied to everyone with the phrase "I eated a pussy." And I don't know why they did that, but that's how they chose to respond to that. Um, and then that opened the floodgates of everyone being like, "Hey, what the fuck?" and talking, and it ruined many people's days. You suddenly have the email come out. Uh, it was a whole fucking thing. And again, I should clarify, I did not receive that. I was not on that list. Was the email scandalous? The email was about like doing a comedy show. It was like, hey, next season we're gonna have 8 shows, and so we're mailing our whole list to be like, hey, do you want to be in the show? So it was all comedians. So it was just this person trying to think of a random funny thing to say to everyone when they should have not done that. And apparently it did indeed open the floodgates to people just losing their minds about what was happening. Can I get these things to work together here? It did like I said, I wasn't on the email, but then I just started hearing people talking about like on the email, God damn it, Riley, and just like people were like, and then so then people would be like, take me off this list, and of course no one does that. No one takes you off the list. They also reply, what am I doing wrong here? This is 22 and 23, right? There's no other pieces. Yeah, and this is this PC1? Maybe that's what's wrong. Maybe I took the wrong thing out. No, that's what PC1 looks like. All right, I'm just having trouble with getting this to work right here. No. We'll get it. We'll figure it out though. But yeah, so that was a whole thing, and it took a long time, and then like someone on the anniversary of it replied to the original email or kept the thread going. But yeah, eventually, what people ended up finding out was that you could mute conversations. So as soon as they could, they just muted the conversation so they didn't get emails anymore. Because that is the thing you can do in Gmail. Now, I'm sure there were a few other people that had to do other things because they weren't using Gmail. But yeah, that was a whole thing. Uh, anyway, I don't know. I don't know. I have not come to a conclusion if Pat Berenger is real or if I'm being pranked or something. I'd like to think that it's just Pat Berenger really fucked up and just used my email by mistake. Did not understand what his email was. Really, really just beefed it. That's what I'd like to think. I mean, again, I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. Other things going on with me. So let's talk about the US version of Taskmaster. If you're unfamiliar with the television program Taskmaster, it's run for 11 seasons because often there are 2 seasons a year. And I say seasons, and I will also say series because that's what they call it. And I will probably use those interchangeably, and I do not apologize for that. Have you tried Googling them? No, Lashbrook. I have not looked up Pat Berenger. Uh, yes, I don't mean Ass Master, and I don't mean Ask Master. Um, but I do mean Taskmaster. Um, Taskmaster is a British show. Um, TASK Master, hosted by Greg Davies, created by Alex Horn. Alex Horn did it at Edinburgh Fringe, as like a show, and then pitched it and picked it up. Been on a couple channels in the UK, um, and there are several seasons. You can watch a lot of it on directly on YouTube on their Taskmaster official, and then other people have uploaded like the later seasons, which are technically not out, and you might not get every episode. You might have to dig. You might have to go through uh, nefarious means to make that happen, but you can get it. Um, and I'm a fan of panel shows. I'm a fan of UK shows. The show it's tasks. Generally, they do them solo, and then they complete these weird puzzles and tests of feats of quick thinking and thinking outside the box and being silly. And then the contestants are almost exclusively comedians. Sometimes they are comedy actors. They're not like stand-ups. They're actors who happen to be in comedies. Um, Oftentimes, these are people who know each other. There is camaraderie among the cast. There are a few people who are a little on the mean side, but nobody's like really mean because like one insult comedy is not necessarily a staple in that kind of thing. But also, they know they're there to make fools of themselves and have a good time. There are a couple people who've been on the show that were definitely seem to be unhappy doing it. For the most part, people were pretty psyched about it. Um, some series are better, others some performers are do better on the show than other people. Throughout most of it is just pretty dang fun and pretty damn enjoyable, and I do recommend it. So Alex Horn, who created the series, it has been licensed in other countries. I hear very good things about the New Zealand because they adapted it, and I believe that uh, Worst Idea of All Time podcast. What's his name? His last name is Montgomery. Um, he is on at least the second season, I believe, or second series, I believe. Um, so there are like some good people that have been on that in the New Zealand. I heard very good things. I don't know anything about the other versions, um, except I know about the American version. If you're thinking, well, Pat, I watch television. How come I didn't see that? Well, because it only aired for 6 episodes, and it was on Comedy Central in like 2018, and it's terrible. And it's a bummer. So the host and kind of like MC of the show, who judges these tasks, um, his name in the UK version is Greg Davies, and he's like an actor and well known in the comedy world and like respected, but like a hard ass, and he knows all these people and like he judges, and sometimes he has his own whims and whatever, and sometimes he's like very generous, and it works really well. It's a good atmosphere. He seems to have a good time. Everybody who's doing it seems to also have a good time, and it's a fun bit of business. Okay, so this goes like this. This is like this, and this goes in like that. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So the American version, and you think, oh, this is a great idea. The American version picked one of America's coolest and interesting comedians. And you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool. Like, yeah, we're gonna pick like Reggie Watts is gonna be the host. And like at first glance, that's like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Reggie Watts is really creative, really a fun dude. That would be a fun time. But then you start thinking, you go, wait, shouldn't Reggie Watts be a contestant on the show because he's like Noel Fielding did the show. Hey, we got a raid. Bad Gunpla just raided with a party of 8. Thank you so much. Welcome, Bad Gunpla. Welcome, folks in the bad crew. Hope you're all doing well out there. Um, I'm Pat Bear. If you don't know me, and I'm a Lego and model kit builder, a Plamo builder. We're working on the Gundam Tri-Age, what is it? Magnum. I wanted to say Mirage, and that's wrong. But yeah, welcome everybody. And we're talking about the very unfortunate, kind of a waste of time American version of a UK classic, Taskmaster. Um, and I didn't know there was an American version. I missed it. I didn't watch it in 2018 when it aired. Um, and here's a good reason to know that it's bad. I personally know several people that were on the show, and I never heard any of them talk about it. Imagine being a show that Ron Funches is on, and Ron Funches in 2018 doesn't promote it. Also, Ron Funches in it. He's the only good thing about the show. Ron Funches is great in the show. Um, and I'm not going to disparage the performers um, who were on it. If I Putting Lisa Lampanelli on that show is a mistake because Lisa Lampanelli is an insult comic that doesn't like things or people or doing things. And that's a fundamental misunderstanding of what Taskmaster is to book her. Also, the choice to book an international comic that nobody else on the cast knows, to book an international DJ that no one on the else of the cast knows. Like, nobody in the cast was friends with Dylan Francis. Like, it's a cool get that Dylan Francis is doing your show. But part of the thing is that these people, even if they're different generations, they're at least familiar with each other as stand-ups. They're like, know each other. They've worked together. They've been in plays or shows or whatever. And this cast was just like, well, Reggie knows a couple people, but he's the host, and he's a fine host. And Ron Funches is trying to make things work as best he can, and he's trying to have a great time doing these things. Uh, a will promote going to the grocery store if he believes the thing he's doing. So if Ron didn't say anything, the show has got to be bad. Yeah. Um, so it was a shame because I think it's like, and look, this is a specific thing because I have watched now. I believe I've fully watched 8 series, and then I'm on series 9 right now in the UK. They used a bunch of already done challenges. They didn't create any new challenges for this ostensibly like pilot season of it. So they just like used stuff they had already used before. And so like if you watch them and you're watching it, it's like, well, this isn't fun. I remember how these went. And sometimes they did a better job, but other times you just see people be mad. And that's the big thing, right? So Lisa Lampanelli, who If you are interested in her as a stand-up comedian, if that's like a thing that you want to watch her be a stand-up, if you like the kind of material that she does, she's doing that here. But it just the tone is weird. Like I don't know why Lisa Lampanelli hates the like judge of the show, Alex Horn, but she does. She fucking hates him, and I have no idea why. And it's so weird. And it's just like there's no bit. And like, okay, so there are a couple people that are kind of mean in the UK version over the years. There have been some mean people, right? But like there's a bit in the show, a running gag where one guy won't say hi to Alex. Like he comes into the room and Alex always says hi to every single person, and it's an ongoing thing. And then at some point, someone calls him out, and he goes, "Well, it's not part of the. I don't have to, so I don't." And it's weird, and it stands out as being weird because it is compared to the rest of the series such a weird move to just be like, "Why is he like that? What's happened?" Um, and in the American version, it's just like everybody's rude and it's fucking weird. Except for Ron Funches, who is, like I said, trying to have a good time and trying to be a pleasant person. And he like when they're all in the room together watching those tasks and like it's like he's like making jokes and he's making like fun of other people, but in a fun way, and he's like poking fun at the process and just being great. And then like uh the way Hollywood is, I would not uh, question female hating a male cast member because the reason is probably very legitimate. Um, so Epic of World, while I totally understand where you're coming from, um, I will compare this. So this is what I'll compare it to. I will compare a insult comedian making insulting a dude out of nowhere, and it feels very weird compared to, and that's in a bubble, right? If that's in a bubble, I totally agree with you. In the context of, I have watched an 8 full series, ranging from 6 to 10 episodes, where this same person interacts with 5 people every season, and it's never the closest thing, like I said, is that one guy won't say hi to him, and he's doing a weird bit. So it does seem like Lisa Lampanelli is just a mean person, which she is in real life. She's a very mean, nasty person that I don't like as a person. From my own personal experience, I will say. So, while I do agree with you, and in a bubble, I would be like, oh, yeah, all right. In practice, my experience says that she's just a hateful person um, that shouldn't have done the show. My general feeling is that she shouldn't have done the show because she's a bad fit for the show. She's good at roasts. She's very good at roasts. Holy shit, you can't pause her. Like you can't you're gonna lose in a roast battle or anything like that. She's great. But it was very weird uh in the context of the show. Um, I'm gonna put some stickers on this. Anyway, it's a bummer because I like the show a lot. And I also love Ron Funches, and I think Reggie Watts is great. Uh uh well, if you're a mean person in real life, doing roasts is a very natural thing. Totally. Um, I should also just say for that I need 10 and 11. What is sticker 10 and what is sticker 11? Okay, these tiny ones here. Great, got it. Oh, I was gonna say something, and I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, Reggie Watts is an incredibly talented person who also has dipped his toes into NFTs, and it's a fucking bummer. And that's it. That's all I'll say about that. But that's a fucking bummer. But also, besides that, Reggie Watts fucking rules and is a great dude. Um, but yeah, um, but is also a completely and totally miscast as being the um, he's totally miscast as the host of the show and should have been a contestant. He would have been an incredible contestant. Um, there's a series of it, the UK version, that I recommend if you have ever been a fan of the Great British Baking Show, because there is a season that has Noel and Mel are from who have different times been comedians on that show as hosts, and it is very enjoyable. They're on a season together, and they are fantastic. Uh, that's a good time. It's a good, very good show. As I said, I do recommend the UK version, which you can just watch it on YouTube. Watch Series 3. I think Series 3 is the easiest. Series 3 and Series 4 are great ways to start, I think, because they're full of characters who get it, like get what the show is. Because it took like a season to kind of like proof of concept it to like get people on board. I think the first season is fine, but it gets better. I think also the first season's short because they only had so much budget. Uh, but it's a good time. I think that is a fun show. And we will move on conversation to the next topic of conversation. How natural was that, right? I really, really did. Speaking of, I didn't even try speaking of. Breaking Basket says, I have that kit. I scratch built it, dual disc, and painted the card hands with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Back card design. Ooh, I like that. So instead of the green sticker that we used here for the green card in the hand, you made it a dual monsters card. I like that. That's a fun thing. The thing I was thinking of was uh, digging out, because I have in a box somewhere at least one of my what do you call it? Common Rider kits, because their Common Riders have those cards as well, and like putting a belt on it or something, trying to make this like a Common Rider Gundam. But I do like the idea that would make a dual disc for it. That's a fun idea. Oh, we're gonna get that Millennium Puzzle sometime this month, folks. Hopefully, it won't be like the end of August, so really September, because I do want to build that Millennium Puzzle. Hopefully, that'll be here soon. We need put that together here in the waist. A15 and A18 says do not cut out. A15 and A18. Do the back of this. Um, Decade, Ryuki, or Blade. Yeah, so I think we would go with Blade, right? I think that would be the way to go. Maybe. I don't know. I have to look at like I would say I know some things about Kamen Rider, but I do not know everything about Kamen Rider. But I have a bunch of the um, Kamen Rider figurized kits. So I have a few of those kits. And I also built the one Kamen Rider. I forget which one it is. I think it's Zero Black. I can't remember. There's one that is the entry grade, which was a quick build and not particularly great, but at least it was quick. I'm gonna put this together there. Lastbrook says I pre-ordered my puzzle a little late last month, so I'll be surprised if I get it in the first wave. Uh, I have a try burning. I made into an Okay, that's fun. Um, yeah, Lastbrook. I mean, I put my pre-order in basically immediately, but and the nice thing is that I got it from USA Gundam Store, so uh, like my Calamity only took a couple days to arrive, which was great because you want to get that as soon as you can. My Calamity, my full mechanics Calamity has arrived, and I'll be building that at some point in the future. And I look forward to putting that together because it's a cool looking thing. So I look forward to having the opportunity to build that because it's one of those things like I really like the Iron Blood Orphans full mechanics. Um, and then also this feels kind of like it's that, but it's also more like an RE100, which I've enjoyed some of the RE100s. So it's like one of those things like I'm not sure which one this is. I think they're just getting rid of the RE100 name and using the full mechanics name for other kits, but the Calamity is cool and Seed, is a good program. So I'm like, all right, I'll build that. I think that's fine. Um, so I did figure we'd talk a little bit about some of the manga I've been reading because I have been on a manga reading kick. Uh, I wanted to First off, I was like reading some stuff that I don't think will get a season two. I'm hearing we're going to get a season two of um, a couple things that I liked, but I was like, they're not going to make more by the grace of the gods, so I'm just going to read that because that's like a fine enough book, and I'm like, I kind of want to read that, so uh, I figured I would check that out. Oh, wait, trying to figure out what sticker I'm looking at right here. That's 9. Those stickers. Oh, it's this big one here. Got it. Sorry about that. It's a big foldy sticker. What I gotta put on. Goes like that. Yeah. I don't love these kind of stickers. Like, look, I understand this is a high grade, so you're not gonna have these be two different pieces, but I do think this doesn't look as cool. Like, it just looks weird. Like, would we panel line this with a black marker? Yes, we would. We would panel line that to try to make it look nice, but that's kind of weird. It's this big sticker. It's a big honking sticker. Not my favorite that when you get those big ones, but whatever. Um, but yeah, so the books I've been reading, like I said, I was reading some stuff that is shows that I like the first season of. I don't think we're gonna get another one, but apparently, supposedly, they have announced that there'll be more Kuma 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 Bear. Um, uh, Even though the manga didn't get caught up with the anime, and they just started going on the light novels. Uh, Apparently, we're getting more of that, which is cool. Um, but the two I've been reading, the first one I've read quite a bit of because I read the synopsis of the anime that's coming out next season, and I was like, "Ooh, this sounds fun." I read quite a bit of uh, look at the runner near A. The pieces are not only possible but in the box, but for some reason they have decided not to use them. Oh yeah. Oh, you're right. They have. You can see right there, folks. The piece this sticker replaces this part here, which they chose not to use because of the runner they're using here. As you can see, there's also different feet than the one we used, uh, and you get those extra part, those fun extra parts. But yeah, they could have done that. Chose not to. That is annoying. Anyway, we're gonna go with what's in the instructions, but that is weird. It's all right. Um, so the show that I've been reading, there's an anime of the series I'm reading. The book is Skeleton Knight in Another World, which is not. It's pretty descriptive because it is a skeleton knight. Um, so tell me if you've heard this before. A dude was playing a video game and then woke up and he's inside his avatar in a fantasy land, and now he is inhabiting the body of his avatar, which is this cool, very tall, very highly skilled, overpowered, like holy knight. And the problem being is, of course, he also, uh, sometime before this happened, he had changed his avatar, which was underneath his armor, his shiny knight armor. He had changed it into a skeleton avatar because it didn't affect anything in the game and looked cool. But now that he is in this fantasy world that is now his reality, he has, unfortunately, he's a skeleton man. Like he's got to keep wearing his gloves, he's got to wear his helmet, and he is freaked out that people will find out that he is a skeleton man. I know that one though. To be honest, I know and read most of this guy. Well, there you go. Um, but yeah, that premise is like, oh, I was playing a video game, now I'm in the video game. Anyway, he is very overpowered, but also just like the honest thing is that he has a personality, but his personality mostly is I gotta do the right thing. Like he's kind of like your basic main character. I will also say this. The most interesting thing about the show, they don't really like the people that are like, oh wait, you're a skeleton, are people that already know and just get surprised by him, like not in the armor. Like it's not a problem. Like you're just like, well, you were really helpful and we like you, so it's cool. Dirty wants me to ring that bell. I will in just a second. Um, they're like, yeah, that's fine. It's okay that you're a skeleton man. Um, because he was like, yeah, I've been cursed. And they're like, sure, totally. We get that. That sucks. We'll help you figure out how you got cursed. I'm going to ring the bell because thank you, Dirty, for using your channel points to have me ring the bell. Um, but yeah, he's basically just like, oh, yeah, I'm a skeleton. And then like everyone's just like, okay, well you're cool, so sure. All right. Uh and it's basically fine. And then it's just like fun characters that he gets to interact with, and it's pretty cool. There's a there's some like very fun minor characters who have a lot of cool stuff going on. There's some evil, terrible people that and it's very fun because the only character in the entire series that at any point he's like, uh-oh, what am I gonna do? Is like the mom of an elf that travels with him. Though to his credit, decursing magic actually works even if temporary. Yes. So he originally was just like, oh, I've been cursed as an excuse, but turns out he has been cursed. And even though temporarily he can fix himself for a little bit. So he does find that out, which is pretty great. Um, so he wasn't lying, but it is a thing where it's just very funny because it's like, yeah, it's not really a problem. Uh, yeah, the mom of the elf that he travels with a lot, who's like his like main companion, uh, her mom like kicks his ass because he's really strong and really powerful, but he's not like good at close combat fighting because he was like that's not his thing. Um, and she just like completely demolishes him, which is like fun because it's fun that that's the only character that ever really gives him trouble in the entire series, like including like giant monsters because he can just use his like very cool magic to like get the job done. Uh, yeah, it is. It's a pretty fun series. There's some good gags and it's some good laughs. It's mostly like pretty great. Um, so I've been reading that a lot, and then I've been reading just such a like there's some fighting and all that, but mostly it's just about like a nice dude just trying to make things work. uh he steamrolls over a lot of stuff. He is such an Ark is such an overpowered main character that it's really great. um let's see. Okay, and then I want to tell you about campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill, which is, I mean, if you're just like, wait, what? That's a light novel, right? And it's like, yes. Um, Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill is a show about a dude who accidentally gets isekai'd, and not like in some other. So three characters were supposed to be getting isekai'd. They're high school kids, yada yada yada. A king did it. It's clearly shady and not great. They'll figure it out at some point, hopefully. Anyway, also this like 27-year-old like office worker also gets isekai'd. Uh Still not as absurd as reborn into an onsen. No, totally. That one is definitely weird. Very weird. Um this one is just like this dude gets isekai'd, and because he's not like a chosen warrior, he has a special skill, and it's cool that he has it. His special skill is he can open up a menu and order food from like internet grocery stores, and then it just magically gets delivered. Which people are just like, that's not a big deal, and he's like, you're right, it isn't. I'm gonna peace out because I'm not a warrior. Later, and so he just like leaves, and then he goes, I gotta get out of this country. He immediately leaves the country that he got summoned into because he just gets the vibe that this is like not great. And then further confirmation later is that they were summoning these heroes just for wars with their neighboring countries. So he just gets like as far away from that as possible. Um, and he's a great chef. He can use ingredients from wherever, but he can also buy ingredients in the world he's in. And he's just like a dude that cooked for himself for a long time, so he's like instantly better a chef than most regular people. Uh, and he's such a good chef that his food's so good that this like mythical beast, this mythical like fox dog kind of beast just shows up and it's just like, hey, I hear this food smells pretty good. Make me some of that. And he does, and then the beast is just like, okay, cool. Form a contract with me so you can feed me all the time. Fenrir, yes, thank you, Dirty Fenrir. He's just like, hey, make food for me all the time. I want like 3 meals a day. Meat, please. And he's like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. And so he has like, uh, yes, also yes, totally. I will get to that other part. But he's just like, okay, I'm gonna make this incredibly overpowered character is now like my companion, and so like I don't have to worry about anything. Um, Tonemo skill de isekai. Yes, Tondameo skill de isekai is the name of it. Yes. Um, uh, but yeah, I was just going by its like literal, like the light novel translation you can buy on Amazon or wherever is campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. Um, so I don't know if this one is getting an anime dirty. I know that Skeleton Knight is, which is why I wanted to check it out because uh, I'm trying to read the first couple chapters of every isekai because lately they've been doing real weird shit with some isekai. So I don't know if this one's getting one. I'm just reading Campfire Cooking because I think it's fun. Um, the only thing that makes me think it won't get picked up is because so far anyway, there's no ladies, which is usually a pretty big thing for getting an isekai greenlit. Is one that it's continuing so that the manga can sell more copies, and two that there's like some ladies in there, and there aren't. There's Look, there is Sui, which is just an incredibly adorable slime that, because of the cooking and because of the skills, because Sui is allowed to, live and isn't crushed early on. Sui is most likely the most powerful slime that's ever existed um, in the realm, and eventually can talk and communicate, which is great. And then also decides that are the what was it called? Oh yeah, the Fenrir is like an uncle, and just calls him like uncle, which is just very cute. This is an adorable, very fun, very talented, very powerful slime that can become a big slime and multiply and make little slimes. Well, yes, you're right. There are the gods. There are goddesses. And of course, he gets protection from the goddesses because the goddesses want offerings of very tasty sweets from Japan. So he has to create those sweets and then give them as offerings, uh, which they readily accept, and it is cute. Uh, there's one that's just like, I can't give you my blessing because it won't help you, and they're like, bless the slime. She's like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I will bless the slime. It's a very cute show, fun premise. Uh, I'm enjoying it. It's just like, hey, see these overpowered monsters fight this other monster, and then watch this dude try to figure out how to cook it the best he can into something tasty for his monster friends, and then other various friends that he makes along the way. Uh, and it's just like a very fun show, or fun book that I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it'll get adapted, but it's a good time. So uh, these I need the other things sliding around on me. Other ones of these, great. Um, yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. I stopped reading Battle Maniac. I forget the exact name of it, but it's the Battle Freak or Battle Maniac, um, which is like fine. It's just like I don't know. It's kind of fine. The next one I think I'm gonna pick up and read a little bit of is the isekai about the guy who Well, he's just a dude. He's just a dude. It's an interesting. Okay, I'll say it's an interesting isekai because instead of I came from a different world, it's a not really an isekai so much as it's a reincarnation story because it's a dragon who dies and then becomes reincarnated as a human. Um, because he just wasn't really living and kind of just like gave up, but then is given a second chance to like live differently and humbly, which is pretty great because it's most of the time he's just like doing his thing, and then like a threat will happen. And he's just like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about that. I'm real strong. Don't worry about it. And then there's also like demons show up, and he's just like, well, I gotta fight these demons, and everyone's just like, hey, yes, Jaru Tensei. Uh, people were like, hey, did you just fight a really strong demon? And he's just like, yeah. Yeah, I did. Um, that one I could see getting picked up. Oh, is he a human before he became a dragon? See, that I didn't pick up on. If that I didn't read all of it, it felt like he was a dragon who got reincarnated as a human. Um, but he may have been a dragon first. Battle Freak is the one about a guy who because I was talking about two shows basically right there. There's the one about a dragon who gets reincarnated as a human that also becomes friends with one of those snake monsters, the Lamakas. And then also there's like elves and stuff, and it's pretty great. Um, and then there's another show about the Battle Freak, which is a dude that gave up his memories. He doesn't remember anything about who he is. He gave up all his memories when he was isekai to have more power, so he could level up faster. Uh, and it's that one's pretty okay. It's fine. Um, he does like get fun people that he's surrounded by, which is pretty great. Um, and yeah, like I said, that one's interesting because he wants to fight. He's like obsessed with fighting, and that is like a fun thing for a reincarnated hero to be like super into it. The fact that he gave up his memories so that he would like level up faster, so he could get into bigger and better fights quicker is a kind of interesting idea. The one with the Lamia is better. Yes, it's cool in the beginning, then gets boring later. Chapters only get released every few months. Yeah. The one about the Battle Freak is like to me does get like a little boring over time. Although I like the cast of characters surrounding him a lot. I think those are fun characters. Uh, yeah, the one with the Lamia, the one of the dragon who is reborn, I think is pretty interesting. Uh, and I would probably check that out. Check out that again, or keep checking that out because I thought that was good. Um, you meant Jaro Tensei, yeah, yeah. I think that story is kind of cool. I was I was happy with what I read of it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm checking out a bunch of stuff because I want to like I like the idea of reading a few things because like Kuma 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 Bear, the cheat pharmacist, uh there are two Dragon Reborn isekai. That does not surprise me at all. Um, there have been a few shows that in the past here, recent past, where they really goofed around with the first couple episodes. Like Kuma Bear starts with like a chapter like they just throw you into it and then kind of explain what happened. Whereas like Cheat Pharmacist is just like starts with him like it doesn't take too long for him to have a pharmacy in the manga, but they just start with him having a pharmacy and they're just like, yeah, here's a minute flashback. uh the one with the Lamia is another one, not Jaru. Okay, all right, well that was the one I was reading about a dragon who was reborn as a human farmer, but then shit keeps going down, and so he's like, well, I gotta get strong and hang out, uh like work on relations between different races and all this. Got a lot on this plate. I'm gonna say. Uh, but yeah, I like to read those a little bit like the first couple of chapters because, like I said, sometimes people make real weird choices with these shows, and it's nice to like have a bit of a basis of what's happening and what's being skipped. Uh, and now there's a literal plague. Yeah, I mean, it happens in these shows, right? Um, but I do like to keep an eye on what's coming out. You know, watch these shows. I'm probably going to see what else is coming out this next season, and if there's like a story I want to check out, see what's going on with those. Couple action series. I mean, am I gonna y'all? I guess this is a topic for another stream. I don't know if I'm gonna play. Do I have to play the Muv-Luv games? Do I want to play the Muv-Luv games? Because I'm gonna watch Muv-Luv Alternative or whatever the one that's coming out in Alternative or whatever it is. Yeah, Alternative. I'm gonna. It's a mech show. Like I'm gonna give a mech show a chance. Uh, well, certainly I agree with you. Breaking. Yeah, totally. But like I'm gonna give it a chance because it's a mech series. Basically, there are these games that came out. Uh, the first one, the first half of the first one is like just like two girls and a guy, and you're the main character, and you're trying to like pick your lady and like figure out who you're going to end up with, and it's your visual novel style game, uh, and then it goes into this weird thing where the main character wakes up in he's now in an alternative timeline where there are like aliens and mechs, and most of the characters are the same, and things happen in there. And then there was like a sequel series where it was like, okay, well, I've now woken up and I'm 10 years before that happened. And so I can prevent some of the problems that happened in this one. So it's the alternative. And they're making an anime of that. Just that one, though. And I'm like, how do you fucking do that? Also, it's the same series as, there's a kind of like German show, Schwarzer or something like that, that has like mechs that's the same universe. It's like what's happening in Germany at the same time of the game. So they've already made an anime of that. And it's like, who is this for? What is happening? What is this? Why would they make this? I just don't know what's going on. It's a very strange thing. But I'm like, I think I might check it out. I kind of like the idea. Um, it really depends on yes, Schwarzenmarken is in the same universe. It's basically like what's happening in another part of the world during that game that we're now going to see the anime of. So they made the spin-off before they made the sequel series or the alternate universe series. It's just another Fate. It's just like another like whatever. Here's some characters and here's a different world. Uh, I know about Muv-Luv, but I'm gonna get to it. Yeah, that's the thing, right? But it's like I believe there are at least two mech series coming out next season. There is the didn't even know it was part of that universe. Yeah, it is. There are two mech series coming out next, at least two. There's the father and daughter. I believe it's an original they're traveling in like mining with like a mech, and then there's also that, and then there's a third one, which is Sunrise's new show, where they're doing all new mechs and they're doing a brand new series, but it's Sunrise. So like, I'm gonna give that a chance because I'm always interested in finding out if a mech show is going to be good or not. So there's some mech. Um, we are going to continue with this kit because we have to build the tri-holder frame and some weapons and such. But we're going to take a brief pause for the cause. If you're new to the stream, what that means is I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk to y'all about ways you can support the channel if you're so inclined to do so. Uh, Sunrise doesn't always equal quality, but I've seen the mech designs and the mech designs look cool. You're not wrong, but I'm going to give it a shot because, like I said, I want to give it a chance. Anyway, if you're currently a subscriber here with the old Build with Bear, throw the bear cave the leg of the site emote in the chat. Let the people know that you are a subscriber. As easy way to show people, hey, you could be a subscriber. You could gift a sub to somebody if you want to. As I said, I am looking to get back to 50 subscribers. It's okay if we don't hit that tonight. It's okay if we don't hit that in the future. But that is a goal. But yeah, subscribing is a great way to support channel. Gifting a sub, if you've been gifted a sub, you can convert that to a regular subscription at any time. That would be great. I would love that. Um, what else was I going to say? I don't remember. Um, uh, yeah, oh, bits and coins, always appreciated. Thank you very much for those that do that. You could join the leaderboard by doing that, which would be great. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes here, folks, about ways you can support the channel. You don't have to do any of these things. If you want to, at any point, help out in that way, that would be great. But again, you are completely and totally cool if you choose not to do any of what I'm about to say. You can just chill for a couple minutes and I'll get back to building real soon. I have a Patreon. If joining me here on Twitch does not appeal to you, you can join my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. So you can join any of those. A little cheaper, a little more expensive. You get different rewards for each tier. I have a YouTube channel, which you could, subscribe to for free, of course, but you could join it for $2 a month. And you get a video one day early. Every Tuesday, you get the Wednesday's video. It's the least I can do as a way to say thank you to everybody for supporting me there. Oops, gotta fix this here. Great. Uh, if joining either of those, any three of those, does not appeal to you, well, you have the option of donation once in a while. If you want to give me just a little bit of money here and there, because everything I make through donations, YouTube and AdSense, through Patreon, through Twitch here goes into buying model kits because I build model kits 3 times a week, and got to keep buying kits. So your generous help, suppose it helps to hit enter, says Lashbrook. Well, Lashbrook, I appreciate it. Better late than never. Thank you, my friend. But yeah, your donations go a long way for me to have access to model kits to keep building. Like the kits that I have pre-ordered through USA Gundam Store or through Premium Bandai. Getting those kits, costs money, obviously, up front. It's nice to have some money in the coffers to go at that. Or if something suddenly becomes a reasonable price on my Amazon wish list, I'll just buy it for myself. Speaking of which, as I said, I have a backlog. If you want me to stop working on stuff from my backlog and instead build something you'd like to see me build, well, you can buy it on my Amazon wish list. Because if you buy it on my wish list, well, it jumps the queue. I shoot a video just about that thing, like basically an unboxing, a mailbag video, as I say, and then I will build it on stream. As you can see from my list, I've got Lego sets, I've got high grades, I've got master grades, I've got inexpensive kits, I've got very expensive kits, I got kits that will hopefully come down in price, I've got kits that are just astronomically expensive, but what are you going to do? But yeah, if you buy something from there, it'll come to me in the mail. I will build it ahead of time because that's the least I can do for someone that's spending money like that. And then there's some gear at the bottom. If you don't know what to buy as far as a kit, but you still want to support, you could buy me something that I would use on the stream. Alternatively, if you bought a gift card from USA Gundam Store, you could DM me on Twitter the code that you get in your email, and I will buy something with that money if you didn't want to go through Amazon, which I totally respect and understand. Because not everybody wants to do that. And I get that. If you want to support me for free, if you don't want to spend any money, but you want to help me out, you could go and join my Discord. My Discord is a lovely little place. People post build photos. Like we got great photos from Lashbrook right now of stuff that they're working on. I post photos after every stream of stuff I'm working on. It's a nice little community. You don't feel like you're going to get bogged down with a lot of messages. It's pretty chill over there. Couple of videos I'd love you to check out. Pat Bear's Anime Club. That is my every other Monday. I put a video up on my YouTube called Pat Bear's Anime Club. This is the most recent one, which was me using Tier Maker to rank every single isekai out in the summer 2021, the current season. There are 11 isekai that I ranked all of them using Tier Maker. So check that out if you'd like to see that. I thought that was a kind of a fun way of using the software to kind of like look at the fact that, because I was like, I was going to do a roundup of them and I'm like, wait, there's 11. I got to do something with that. And then of course, best of Build with Baer. That is just clips. If you ever see something during the stream that you think was really fun, hit the clip it button or clip it so that I can put that up on my YouTube. I'll do that every Wednesday. Hard bedded subtitles on there, or closed caption, and quick little things. Also, I don't have a link for it right now. I'll add the link. I'm on TikTok, and I'm just going to be uploading those. That's basically all I'm going to use TikTok for, is to upload those videos. Maybe I'll shoot some other stuff that goes on TikTok, but probably not. It's probably that. But if you just look for Pat Bear on there, you should be able to find them. Find me on there. Find me on TikTok. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it, but right now I was like, I'll give it a shot. That's kind of fun. I don't hate it. And now I'm going to talk to you about some anime, and we're going to get back to building. But first, I'm going to drink some water. I got to drink some water. Then we're going to talk anime. Go back to this overhead here. Oh, that's another thing. This came in the mail. I got the Hello Kitty. I got the Hello Kitty RX-782 EX. Finally, I'm going to build that at some point. First, I'm going to drink some water. All right. So, we're going to work on the tri-holder frame. We got two of these. We're all using all E here. So we got to build the frame out here. E10, E11, E9. And we'll do that. Do two sets of that. 10, E9, E11. Great. We'll do that. Dirty says, night, good stream. Thank you very much for being here, Dirty. You have a good night as well. Take it easy. Don't watch Battlefield Earth. I mean, watch it if you need to, but don't. You weren't here earlier. Dirty watched this stream instead of watching Battlefield Earth, which was great. It was a good choice on Dirty's part. Anyway, so Tsushima, or Ore Tsushima, if you want to say the name, the Ore part. This is a show that's running in Japan. There is a TV version. It's like a minute and a half long. Nobody picked it up over here, which makes sense. But you can watch it with closed captioning on YouTube, and you can get the English. It's on their official YouTube, which is very convenient if you want to watch a series like that, which I do. It's also weird because there's also a net animation, which is basically very similar but slightly different. And that's just weird because they're both on the internet for us anyway. So Ore Tsushima is about a big cat that used to be a wild cat, but is now a house cat, and he can talk, and they don't know why. And the owner, old lady who is taking care of him, she also has other cats. And this episode, we met a cat that we hadn't seen before, named Cha, who is one of the other cats that lives there. And Cha is scared of birds and freaked out by birds. So our boy really thinks that he's useless. So our guy Tsushima thinks that Cha is useless, and that's just it. And they're like, "Oh, why didn't Cha come back?" Well, that's because Cha saw like a bird and kind of just like froze in place, and the bird didn't know how to react because the bird has never seen something like that before. So the bird is frozen and the cat is frozen, and they were just sitting there staring at one another. Didn't come in, and that's it. Like I said, very quick fun little episodes about this thing. All of the cats are drawn in this like very beautiful, kind of beautiful photorealistic-ish style. This like painterly, lovely style, and the lady is just like a blob of blue. It's really weird. It's a weird choice, but I do really enjoy it. All right, so okay, we're getting the tri-holder frame done here. Get this all connected. So these go like this. So we need E1, or sorry, E6 and E7. Put those here. And put those on there. Okay, so now we'll get into the meat of some of the anime I want to talk to you about. We got My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom X, which is the second season of My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. This second season very much feels like, oh, I finished the first story, and now I guess I'm just going to write more. Like, people like this. Oh, weird. This is popular. Because, like, there's not a cohesive, necessarily narrative. Like, there's a bunch of characters that were introduced, and there was a bit of a plot, but most of it is just, like, good episodes. Like, there'd be good manga chapters. but it does really feel like this show like maybe needed to hello Isabella, happy to see you there, welcome. um this show does feel like and that being my next life is a villainess, all routes lead to doom X does feel like it needs direction. It needs like something. Like maybe it's going to pick up and there's going to be like a bigger story happening. I liked this episode. It was mostly a flashback. The larger plot stuff right now. I mean, the larger plot is that the prince, her fiance, Katarina's fiance, who she thinks doesn't like have feelings for her, definitely does because he kissed her and was like, oh, you think you thought that was a dream the first time I did it? Okay, well, great. Here we go. We'll clear this up. And kisses her again. Um, and she's just like, ooh, I don't know what my feelings are about this. I mean, I do think you're great, but mostly her feelings are, I can't be royalty because he's not the crown prince, but he is in line for the throne. And so she's just like, oh, I can't handle being like the wife of a prince. That is, I can't handle the responsibility of that. I'm not gonna. That's not gonna work. So she's nervous about that. Um, anyway, Gordo wants to spend some like alone time with her, but of course everybody shows up. Everybody in the harem shows up to because they're worried about it. So everybody comes and it's fine because everybody's there together again. It's been a little while since we had the whole gang together. And we get a flashback to when all the girls had just kind of met. This was shortly after um, uh, Katarina had woken up and realized that she was Isekai and had changed her personality and kind of slowly started to change everybody else along with her. Um, and basically, the whole thing is like it's the kids kind of like playing together, and there's like talk of there being a ghost. So they're all like, let's go and like figure this out. Let's go find this ghost. Um, and then there's like a rainstorm, and mostly the episode is about like Katarina like encouraging and being a good like the first real friend that Sophia ever had, which is like just like a nice little story because she's just got like an appearance that frightened people because she's just got this hair and eyes that are unusual. But she's like not a problem. There's nothing wrong with her. So like Katarina's friendship meant a lot, and Katarina's friendship opened up the door to Mary's friendship, and Mary and Sophia certainly get along very well. Um, and it's a whole thing. It's just like a nice thing that they're spending time together. There's a whole little mini thing of Sophia as a child, like to get over being afraid of lightning, she comes up with this like fantastical story about a knight and a wizard and a witch who take on a dragon. And that story is her and Katarina, clearly. Shows just how early she thought of Katarina as her savior. And it's just like a nice little thing. And we find out that the ghost that they saw, they thought they saw, was the previous summer, was just Katarina's mom yelling at her and Katarina moaning from being yelled at because she was climbing all over the place and just being a goof. Um, I just think that was it's just a cute little story. Yeah, but it was just like, oh no, that there's no ghost. It's just, Katarina freaking people out. Like Katarina just like getting yelled at was the ghost. It was very cute. And then we flash back to the present. Um, and everyone eats and has a nice time. And there are fireworks, which was originally supposed to just be for Giordo and Katarina, but everyone's there, and that's nice. And then like, well, who knows what's gonna happen uh, in the future? But right now, everything seems pretty cool, and maybe that'll change. One has to wonder. There are characters in the opening sequence I don't think we've met yet, so perhaps more is coming. I would like there to be like a little more plot because I do think that the show is cool, but it is getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I thought the kidnapping was going to be like the whole season, and the kidnapping was like a couple episodes. So what else is going to happen in the show? Because it's good, but what's up? So we'll see. We'll see if there's going to be some more stuff. Right now, we're working on weapons. We have finished the body here. We're basically body complete. It's time now to work on our big rifle, and we'll get that together. And I believe that is, yes, that is our final sticker, will be the rifle. C13, C5. Um, okay, so moving on to, uh, wait, what else? Yeah, the four. Yes, Remake Our Life is the third show. Speaking of anime, Discotech announced a bunch of stuff today, including Blu-ray releases of Gunbuster OVA and Ronin Warriors. Yes, apparently some of the stuff they're putting out is going to be like it will take a while, but the Gunbuster OVA does. Ooh, the clip they put out does look very good, and also I should say the Gunbuster clip that they put out is a scene that like people they put out the scene that people have made into a meme, which is perfect. They were like, "Oh, you know this meme thing that people do with this one scene for Gunbuster? Hey, check out how we made it look." I've never seen Gunbuster. It looks cool. Gunbuster's fucking pretty damn cool. I mean, it's definitely of its time. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's like incredible, but like it's pretty badass. And I wouldn't mind seeing it. Like I saw it. I definitely saw it fan subbed back in the day. So I definitely did not see it particularly fantastic looking. So I am certainly interested in seeing how that turned out. Um, I mean, I've never seen the subtitled version of Ronin Warriors. I've only seen the dub, and I don't know, but like I like the dub. I certainly don't dislike it, but yeah, I've never seen it in any form other than the dub. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, they're putting out some good stuff. Uh, anyway, Remake Our Life did not have a reference to the early to mid 2000s anime scene like it did last episode, where the last episode she sang the song from Melancholy. God knows she fucking Nanako, the character in the show that is set in the year 2006, sang a cover of a popular song from an anime that came out, and that episode came out in 2006, and it's the real song that she's covering, and that's incredible. And then in karaoke in an earlier episode, she sang the first theme to Roni Kenshin, which she would have watched several years before and would have been a song that she would be psyched to sing in karaoke, which is like, what the fuck? Why are they putting so much effort into making this right? Um, which will also come out later in this, because so this is a show where our main character in 2016 he's in a real bad place. Everything kind of falls apart, and his big regret is, I wish I'd gone to visual arts school. I wish I'd gone to that cool college instead of going and getting a business degree and then ending up in games, but ending up in a bad company. Kyoya, and then Kyoya wakes up and it's 2006 again, and it's right before he can apply for that school, and so he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And it's him like trying to figure out his way and also help these people. And the people he's meeting, like I mentioned, Nanako. Well, she's Nana. Uh, she's a musician in the future that he really likes. His other roommate uh, is an artist that like got him through some hard times. Like her art is beautiful, and he was really, really loved it. Um, and there's also like a character that wrote like a play. There's a plot to a short film that he like pitches the idea of, because it was like, oh, that's a thing I remember in the future. And this dude's like, I wrote notes about this, and I never worked on it, but I wrote the notes. What the fuck is happening? Um, so it's this dude like his knowledge of the future, some ways really helps him, and in other ways is just isn't really discussed. But like he's surrounded by these really creative people, and now he has the opportunity to help them because he's a 18-year-old going to this school, but he's also a 28-year-old that like understands like being prompt and like doing all the things you need to do and being responsible and like figuring it and not just giving up and being like, no, we can work on this. I've worked on tougher. Like his other life experiences are certainly tougher. Also, Nanako has feelings for him and saw that he was kissing Shinoaki. Um, and he doesn't really talk about that part, like, because he's also like kind of weirded out by this girl being into him, because like these girls are into him because he is the most like got his shit together person I think they've ever met, because he's 18 but he like can take care of himself. He's just like a responsible adult as an 18-year-old because he's actually 28. Uh, so that is interesting. And the last couple episodes before this one, the fourth roommate, who's a dude, Suruyuki, has kind of been distant. He's been like skipping classes. Nobody's quite sure what's going on with him, why he's not there. And then they figure it out. He kind of finally says like, "Hey, I've been working all this time because my family doesn't approve of me going to art school to be a writer." Or to write stuff. They wanted me to be a doctor like the rest of the family, and so they're not supporting me, and I'm gonna run out of money for tuition. So I have to work all this hard, but I'm skipping classes. So is that even worth it? I think I've gone as far as I can, but Kyoya is like, no, we're gonna figure this out. I have an idea. I have a way for us to make some money to make this happen. Um, uh, let's see. It's a movie from. Oh yeah, you're talking about Gunbuster. Yeah. Um. Anyway, so his big plan is let's make a Dojin game because he knows this dude knows how Dojin games. Like the thing is, you've got a musician, you've got an artist, you've got a writer, and you got a producer. The four of them. He needs a background artist, but he knows. Here's the thing: because he knows stuff from the future, he knows that there's a guy who's great at doing background art in their college. He saw their name the other day, and he's like, "I know that name." So like, yeah, bring him in because this dude's like, "Yeah, I can't do character art, so nobody wants to work with me." But yeah, I'll do this. And he knows somebody that's in a popular circle, and he knows how the games are made because he's made games in the future. He didn't program them; he did some design work and support work, but he has a sense of how that works. And also, uh, a thing that like happens with him that I think is really interesting is that he. All right, so this is our big gun. We'll just put that there. We don't need to have it attached to it, but there's our big gun. Um, oh, we got to put the beam cape on. We got to put the beam cape on. I can't wait to put this beam cape on. Beam cape. Um, so the thing is that like everyone's kind of struggling trying to figure this out. Also, uh, yeah, there's a beam cape. The frame back here, it's a beam. I mean, it is what's said on the tin. It's a cape made out of beam. Uh, it's a beam cape. So we're gonna put the beam cape on here. Let me get this snapped off right. Anyway, Kyoya is like, hey, we're gonna make this dojin, and they're like, we don't know what that is. And he's like, oh yeah, the most popular ones are gonna. He's like, oh, do we have to do a fantasy game? He's like, no, because he knows that in 2006, a very popular style of dojin games were coming out, which were um, visual novels about high school where characters fall in love with each other. And so he's like, we're going to make that. And they're all like, um, okay. And then I appreciate that Suriaki is like, hey, I need to talk to you in private. And he's like, which I really appreciate that he's like, hey, so you want me to write intimate stuff and I don't have experience with that. Which I think like that's real good that the dude is like upfront and honest about that. That's nice, you know. Hey, I like to think that an 18-year-old in 2006 would be honest with his friend that he's just like, hey, I don't have like, I'm not, I don't know how to write that, which I appreciate. But he's like, no, hey, a lot of writers can work on stuff that they've never experienced themselves. And he's like, oh, okay. All right, so this I don't know exactly how this fits in, but I believe it goes in like this. Hmm. Sorry, I don't know how this beam cape fits in. Exactly what you mentioned. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so these spread out. I know that part. Oh, these spread out like this. Okay. They go like this. And then They snap in around it. Okay. Um, anyway, they're going to run into a lot of problems, and the biggest problem with this episode uh, of Remake Our Life is oh, it's Sukiyaki's fiance shows up, which nobody knew she had one, or he had one named Sakuri. She shows up, and it's just like, what? Your fiance? Which maybe it's arranged, maybe it's some other deal. Who knows? Arranged marriage is still a thing. Can be. Maybe it was a childhood promise that he made, and he's like, "Oh, we were kids when I made that." Okay, so the beam cape is a thing that we're going to look at, but also eventually we do have to take this off because this also is the frame for a big sword. So we do unfortunately have to pick or choose beam cape or sword, which is I think rude. I think it's rude that we have to choose those two things. Um, so we'll take a photo of this like this with the beam cape. I'm going to put it on a stand here. Part off here. But yeah, I mean, we got to take a photo of the beam cake because it's fucking cool as hell. We take a photo of this, and then we'll build the cool sword, the tri slash blade. Okay, the other anime I want to talk to you about is how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. I'm really enjoying the show. I mentioned this on Twitter that the thing I think I like the most about this is that uh, it's well written. I like the characters, but also somehow they wrote a cliffhanger into the end of every episode, which is very surprising. They've managed to do that, except maybe the first one. I think every episode but the first one just ends in a cliffhanger. All right, so let me just get this like closer here. Beam cape. Beam cape is done. Now we take the backpack off, or this part of the backpack off. We're going to take the beam off, and we're going to make a real big sword. This out, pop these open. We're going to pop this out. I like this bad boy. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Oh, hey, what's up, face? Uh, Yeah, this is the Tri-Edge Magnum. It's a good chonky friend, like big armor friend. As I said, I think my biggest issue with this kit is that you have to choose between having the beam cape and the giant beam sword, and I think that that is a choice that is rude. I think it is rude that I have to choose between the two, that I can't do both. But maybe if they made a master grade, they would make two of them. You could do both. But that feels like a waste. Also, like plenty of cool parts. Really nice, clear parts. Big fan of that. Hey, Lunar Jade is raiding with a party of 54. Oh, wow. Welcome, Raiders. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Heather. Appreciate that very much. Welcome, friends. Hi. Um, hello, hello. Welcome. I'm going to go to this frame to do my intros and my hellos. We'll get back into looking at this model kit and talking about anime real soon. Don't you worry about that. But first, I just want to say hello. Welcome, Raiders. I'm Pat Baer. You may know me from PAX, if you've ever been to PAX and you've seen some stuff with League of Heels, the wrestling show that I helped produce for many years, or my panels, 404ing it, Improvised Postmortem, Pat Baer's Anime Club. I made a panel at PAX with my name, and then I also made that a YouTube channel or YouTube series with my name because that's me. You may have seen Heather do that panel this year at PAX East Online, the online one, the one you could go to because it was online. Um, but yeah, I do this channel here where I build. This is the Build With Baer Workshop every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday from 9 p.m. till around 11 p.m. Eastern. I build model kits, Lego sets, lots of Gunpla, working on Gunpla right now, but I also build all kinds of different things. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I thought the name in the shower one day, the Build With Baer Workshop, and then I was like, I guess I need to start streaming. That has to be a thing. Sometimes I come up with the name first and then I make a thing about it. But this, I'd wanted to do this kind of a stream for a long time, and so I came up with that. But yeah, do a lot of model building on Wednesdays. I play video games, things with the chat, things of other things that I'm interested in doing, a variety on that. But I'm traditionally mostly a model kit builder. Please give me a follow if you be interested. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Heather. Give me a follow if you're so inclined. And yeah, we've got a little time left in the stream. We're getting very close to finishing this model kit up. Uh, so I think I'm going to take a look at that and see if we can get this. Yeah, we're just about done with this kit, which is pretty good. And we'll talk about the next thing I'm going to be working on, which is a Lego set. But we'll go back to the overhead here. So I'll take this off its stand. This is the Tri-Age Magnum. So it is Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise is one of a few series that is a love letter to Gundam. Gundam Build Fighters and Gundam Build Divers and Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise are all these like things that either it's a show for kids about Gundam, using Gundam to make Gundams, or Big Sword, right? It is a big sword. We're almost done putting this the beams on this big sword. But yeah, this is a giant sword. This frame, this part on here, lives on its back and also can be a cape. It's the holder for the beam cape, but unfortunately, this kit does not let you wear a beam cape and have a big sword at the same time, which is rude. This is color-coded plastic. Yes, this is all snaps. No glue. There are stickers. There are unfortunately plenty of stickers. The high grades rely on stickers for like color correcting. I'll show you an example of that in a moment. But yeah, the Build Fighters series, those series of shows are about like people building Gunpla. They're like a love letter to Gundam that's made by Gundam, which is a weird thing. So you end up with like kits that are based on other kits and like weird adaptations of it. What was I saying about stickers? Yes. So you can probably see here, there's this piece right now that this was all purple, and then I put these yellow stickers on there. So I just put the stickers on there to color correct because it wasn't proper. So they send stickers because it's a high grade, it's small, it's 20 something dollars. They're gonna cut corners here and there. Same thing with these. This is a poorly applied on my part, unfortunately, because it has a lot of bends in it sticker, because that shouldn't be purple. So they came with a yellow sticker. We had a sticker sheet here. The eyes are almost, even with master grades, you're most likely going to have stickers to cover that, which is the higher grade of a kit. More expensive and all that. But this kit, considering the fact that it's a high grade, it came with a lot of clear, very cool looking things. It also has this card, like it's holding like a card, and I don't remember why. I was joking that it's like a Kamen Rider, and someone in chat earlier was like, apparently when they did this kit, they painted it so it looked like it was a Yu-Gi-Oh card, like it was a Duel Monsters card, which I really like the idea of. But yeah, this is a big friend, and we're gonna put this big sword on its shield, or not shield. It literally comes with a stand that is meant for the kit, but I can swap the stand out to hold the sword, because the sword is so big that this kit will not be able to hold it properly. It's just a very funny idea to me that it comes with a sword too big for it to normally hit. I like the design so much I may break my no sticker rule. Like, shaky hands just aren't good with stickers, paint or glue. So yeah, so there's I use markers because I like using markers. I use Gundam markers. They're not fine detailed, but also I will admit that I use the quick and dirty method, which is like, if I take a part here, I'll just use the black on this gray. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the marker and I'm just going to like hit all of the panel lines, all of the depression lines on the thing. I'm just going to hit a bunch of them with a marker. And did I get stuff on the right spot? Yes. Did I get stuff on the wrong spot? Yes. Then I just take an eraser and just go over it. And wherever there's a panel line, where there's an indent, the marker will stay. And then in other spots, it will erase from like places it shouldn't be. This is not a good indication of how that looks, but like uh, the white legs here are panel lines. And of course, I have a very bright light on this, so it's a little hard to see. But other kits show that off better. But I've been using markers for like a year and change. It's not like it's a fairly new thing for me. But I do think that it just kind of brightens it up. It gives it a little bit more of a comic book look to it, which I just kind of like, and brightens up the kits. That's all. You don't have to worry about that. That's the thing is, this plastic is the right color. You don't have to paint it. You don't have to do glue. You don't have to apply stickers if you don't want to. Um, I use an X-Acto knife. I take my time if I really want it to look good. But for kits that I'm building here on stream, I'm also okay with sometimes it not looking as good as I would like. If it just looks like kind of neat or kind of fun, that also is great. Um, if it just like came together and I'm done with it, I'm feeling all right about it. That's pretty good. Okay, so we put this on here so that we can literally rest it on there. Yeah, all right. So then we got to put the handle on. So we got to take the hand off and put this on here. I didn't know if we would finish this kit tonight. We did finish it tonight, which is cool. I do know what I'm building next. My $10 patrons got to vote, and they voted for, and I'll tell you here, they voted for a monster truck. Now, technically, is it a monster truck? It's a Monster Jam vehicle. It is a licensed vehicle from the world of Monster Jam, which is a touring company that does monster truck shows. So it is a monster truck, but I should say it is the Monster Jam Max D, which is a monster truck in under the umbrella of Monster Jam, which is a real thing and sounds like a video game that you know someone who worked on it. Um, uh, or it's a game jam about monsters. But Monster Jam is just like a thing. It's just like a monster truck show, and they have a licensed Lego thing, which I just think is such a very specific and weird thing. Okay, so I can do like it does want to hold the sword, but if I wanted to, I could have it like sit like that, which is very silly. But it holds the sword enough. I think we're just gonna go with that. Or an actual jam just marketed at kits. Yeah, it's Monster Jam for kids. Anyway, I got to take a photo of this giant sword hand, this Gundam with a big sword. So I'm going to take a cool photo of that because I always have to take photos. I got to pull way back to get that sword in. That's good. The jam is Monster Blood. There you go. All right, so that's our kit. That's our big friend here. Tri-Age Magnum. It was a good build. I'm happy with that build. Oh, just for folks that came in from late because they came in on the raid. Again, thank you very much, Heather. Appreciate it very much for that raid. I'll show you what the pop this out, pop this hand apart. I'll show you what the beam cape looks like. This is not your typical thing to have a cape on a kit. Which is one of the things that I was like, well, that's very cool. It's very cool that it has a cape. It's what? Why would it have a cape? Like, and I don't have a good answer. I have not seen this thing in action. I have not read it in the manga, or I have not looked at it because I believe Re-Rise is the manga version. But yeah, so it's got a big cape. These things like to pop off, which is not fun. But yeah, it's got a big cape. This is our big purple friend with their cool green cape. Great colors. Very unusual to have a cape made out of beam. The same thing for like beam weapons, but it's a cape. That's a weird choice, but I like it a lot. Anyway, time to prep. We're going to talk about this thing. So I don't have the time tonight to really delve into this next thing, but I can show it off and kind of prep you for Monday's stream where we're going to get into this. So we will push this aside. We will jump to, not that, that's a Hello Kitty. That's another thing I'm going to build in the future because I own it, is the RX-78 Mini and then what you can do with the Hello Kitty is you can take the Hello Kitty head and you can put it on the Gundam body, and then you can put a special head attachment to make the helmet a different helmet that fits on Hello Kitty, and then it's a Hello Kitty Gundam. Harold just cheered. Appreciate that. At least it's not a cape made out of beans. No, it's not a beans cape. Uh, that would be bad. That's the thing I'm going to build in the future. I'm going to build a Hello Kitty Gundam, licensed one. So this is the next thing I'm going to be building. So I'll give you a bit of a preview. Apparently, it does accelerate, and you can pull it back, and then it will go forward, which is very weird. It is, as I said, it is a monster truck from the Monster Jam series Technic. This is the Max D, I believe. Yes, the Max D. So that's this is a nonsense thing that I'm going to be building in the future. On Monday, I'm going to start this build. 230 pieces. It also, you may have seen here, it says 2-in-1. There is a secondary vehicle from this series, these live events, that you can build here. Now, the instructions don't come in the box. You got to put the QR code from the booklet, which is here. I've got some Legos rolling out. That's fine. But if I scan the QR code, it'll bring up instructions for the other build. And then also, it does include the photo of the real Max D, which is that thing. Oh, shiny, sorry. It's that thing, which is just nonsense. Look at that on its back wheels. Just doing cool stuff. I don't know if you can do that with Lego, but we're gonna build that, and then yeah, you can. Oh, this will be good. This is a good photo here. So this is building one of these. We're building this here. You see, it has the cape or the kind of like flag at the back, but we can take this apart and then build the other version of it. Which is cool. It's cool that it includes that. I don't know if we're going to do that back to back. I might wait on it and build that in another time because, it's a whole. They don't look that different. Like they call it the quad bike. You can see in the back here. There's like the alternate version that we can build. This version, and I'm like, they seem very similar, so I might just like wait and do it later. They're like, yeah, you can go on a website and look at it if you want to build it on a website instead of the booklet. But I think that is cool they included it. And this is like, I don't know, real weird. It's just like a real weird thing that I'm excited to put together. But that's going to be on Monday because I don't have the time tonight, unfortunately, to get into this. I also feel very strange about going on a raid because we just got raided not too long ago. We are running at the end of our stream. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to raid someone awesome. Maybe they're model kit builders. Maybe they're just cool people that we know. Maybe it's somebody you know because you also know them as a stream. I don't know. But we are going to raid, and I hope you come along in this raid and you share the love. If you're new here, if you came in because of the raid, please consider hitting that follow button, turn your notifications on so you know the next time I go live, because I build Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, John Williams. I appreciate that very much. This community is lovely. I will tell you that my chat rules. I am confident about myself and my ability to do things in a general manner, but I don't want to seem overconfident. But I will tell you genuinely, because it's not about me, my chat rules. They're very nice people. So if you're looking, that is a deal breaker for you, and it is for me. There are streamers I like out there whose chats are garbage. They don't do anything about it, and they don't make sure that community is good because they're only focused on what they're putting out. And I hate that. You have to have a nice chat for me to want to hang out. I have a nice chat. They're lovely. So, well, I appreciate that. I try to keep it nice. Yes, I try to have the Bear Cave be a nice, pleasant place for you to come. 'Cause I don't know why I would do it if I didn't like reading what the chat had to say. It would be a bummer for me. So, yeah, I build, and then Wednesdays I play games. I actually don't know when I'm playing this Wednesday. I gotta have my Patreon decide. Well, thank you. Yeah. Also, lurking is totally cool. As meant, I'm on a bunch of discords, and you'd only know it if you went and looked to see that I was a member because I don't post. But I read a lot of stuff because that's kind of how I'm at. I'm a lurker as well. I usually like to say hi to the person and then I just kind of chill. Uh, oh yes, yes. I mean, more bear caves in the future. I'll be at a PAX at some point. I'm not going to PAX West because I COVID got here via Seattle, so I'm a little hesitant to go there. This is kind of just the vibe I've got. But I will go to a PAX in the future at some point. Anyway, we are going to raid. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to figure out who we're about to go raid because that is a thing that I can just go do. This is what I'm going to be building on Monday. So come back for that. Let me go and see who is out there doing the thing that I want to check out. Who's out there doing stuff? Let's see. Just checking in with. Okay, we've got. Okay, I know where we're gonna go. We are gonna go raid. Oh, turn that off. We're gonna go raid Matt Wiggins. I'm sure some of you know who that is, but Matt Wiggins has been playing a bunch of. He's been going through some Metal Gear stuff, and has a Metal Gear Solid 5, I believe, right now, which is the only Metal Gear I've ever played. Fun fact: I've only played one Metal Gear, and depending on who you talk to, it's either very good or what do they do to my Metal Gear? So that's fun. But yeah, I've heard various things on that. But I enjoyed it. So we're going to go raid, yeah, Metal Gear. We're going to go raid Matt, who is great. Um, and I hope you have a great evening. I hope you'll come along on this raid. Matt would love to see. I'd love to raid in with a large group of people. So that'd be really nice. So feel free to come along. And I hope you come back and check me out again in the future. I will see you on the next Build with Bear on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, working on this cool Lego set. And thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.